Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms. And I'm joined here not only with my beautiful daughter Katie, but with super fans Heath and Riley Goldman. And an even Sam Hubbard fan. And this is the divisional round recap of Jungle Talk. Woo! Here we go. And because we pulled off the win, and the mighty Ducks quacker. All right. We did it. We shocked the world. You know what I got to start with before is I loved Burrow's comments when they interviewed him right away. Right away, he said, issue those refunds to the people who bought tickets. It's like, sorry, NFL, to spoil your neutral field plans. So I don't know what to say. I could not be happier. The team went up there and made a statement. That was a statement win today.
Absolutely. And I will go. I've made a culprit before. I'm going to do it again. After that Browns debacle, I looked at you and I said, let's just write this season off and let's just find some people, fill in the spot and get healthy. You told me to relax. And here we are.
Here we are.
That jersey and this jersey are starting to smell. They've got some.
Oh, my gosh. After the Browns loss, I broke out this Delta O'Neal jersey. And I've worn it every week because we just kept winning Carolina and we kept going and 10 wins. I'm wearing I wore it to channel Von Bell because it's 24, but this is a Delta O'Neal jersey. And I mean, I'm hoping that I'm schlepping this to Arizona. And even though I have super expensive jerseys, this is just a replica Delta O'Neal, but 10 in a row. 10 in a row doesn't lie. So hey, Riley, you've worn that jersey for a few games.
I switched it up today. I had the perfect to help out Pratt and Logan Wilson. I broke out the Dunlap because we needed a big game from our D line, and it wasn't huge, but they got pressure on him the entire game.
Oh, no. It was huge because we dominated this game on the line. I mean, kudos to the offensive and defensive line. We controlled this game from the beginning. So,
one of the things I think what Riley's point was, correct me if I'm wrong, buddy, is that we didn't get a lot of sacks.
No,
but we didn't get home, and it was like that Browns game. Jacoby Brissett was just scrambling for his life and throwing some passes down the field. Josh Allen had his a few today down too, where like you can only hold coverage for so long. But man, oh man, we got pressure all day long. Their running game was non-existent, and you know what? You and I say it every week. Oftentimes we got bad apple. We had a bright red, delicious, good apple.
Crispy, good apple. Absolutely. No, and it's the game started out. We couldn't have asked for a better start. I mean, to take the ball down the field, score right away, force two consecutive 3-and-outs by the Bills, and go up 14-0 before we ever had to punt the ball. I couldn't ask for we dominated it. Even halftime, I mean, the halftime stats, we completely dominated the first half.
At one point, I think it was in the first half, Riley, correct me if I'm wrong, he had thrown 10 passes to 7 different receivers.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Burrow was
first half.
This is at half. Burrow was 18 of 27, and he threw it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different receivers.
Who was the 8th one? There were at that particular moment on the screen. It was 7.
Burris, Chase, Perrine, Boyd, Higgins, Irwin, Wilcox, Mixon.
P-Ride hadn't caught one yet at that point.
So, but that's at least one reception for each of them. So
I know we're not talking about the postseason. I mean the preseason and the post draft and the draft and everything else. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Mr. Carmen Jackson has stepped in and Jackson Carmen. I do it every week. Has solidified that left side right now while Jonah's on the bench.
Yeah,
and he has done. Other than that false start 5-yard penalty, no big deal. And then I think we had one movement by Bolton.
Yeah,
That's it. 2 5-yard penalties. This offensive line absolutely went next man up today, and they showed up and played ball.
Yeah, we had Adeniji. I made a comment on the preview and on the recap that Adeniji is not the same Adeniji that played last year next to Bobby Hart. Okay, And he's definitely stepped up his game. And Carmen, over the since coming back in after Jonah Williams' injury, Carmen has done a great job. And he's in his natural position on the left side, which is what he did for Trevor Lawrence. He was the left tackle on Clemson. So I think we found something here where when Jonah's healthy, I just see him playing in a different spot on the line or just being there for depth. He'll just be
Collins isn't coming back immediately. We still got him for another year and a half once he comes back, but he's not going to be there. You put Jonah on that right side, you get Carmen to lock down that left side, and we get Kappa back too. And Volson really has shown something this year. That's a hell of an offensive line.
So this was too. He's looked good.
Riley's exactly right.
Picked him off of more or less the street, and he's come in and held his own.
Oh, he was a great last year. BJ Hill was the midseason acquisition that made an impact. This year, Max has come in and been exactly what we needed. I mean, thank goodness we had him.
When you don't hear an offensive lineman's name, it's always a good thing.
Yes, it's a very good thing. But we got, like you said, we got tons of pressures on Allen. He was never comfortable. Hilton, second half, kudos to Cam Taylor-Britt and Mike Hilton were unbelievable. There was 3 straight plays where Mike Hilton, I thought his arm was not going forward and that was a fumble. But we had 3 straight plays where Mike Hilton was just in the heart of it. And I thought, wow, what a game he's playing. This defense showed up. And like I said, issue the refund, baby. This is
a good thing. It's a good thing that I'm saying this. Who heard Jesse Bates and Von Bell's name today?
So just Bell when we sent him in, and Jesse Bates when he made 1 tackle, but other than that, you didn't hear. And Bates when he exchanged words with Allen in the end zone.
Yeah.
Which
my point was you had nothing down the field to even give them a reason to be involved in the game. I'll tell you what though, we picked on him for a couple weeks now. Dax Hill had a huge defensive stop in that end zone. It was a great play.
He had nice coverage on Knox in the end zone. The ball was overthrown, but he was still in great position, forcing the high throw. So kudos to Dax. Listen, we're rolling along. We made the Final Four 2 years in a row. That's first ever in Bengal history. We've never been to back-to-back AFC championship games.
I'm going to say there's 2 stat lines on the defense that I really liked. 63 total rushing yards.
Yes.
And 0 throwing touchdowns for Josh Allen.
Yeah. The one he got in was a run. So, no, every aspect of this game, Burrow gave kudos to everybody talking about it being a complete win. This team came up on a mission. They were disrespected by the NFL. Like I said, when one of the first things Burrow says is issue the refunds, this was on their mind. They thought about what he was going to say. This is something where we felt disrespected. This should have been on a neutral field. And hey, NFL, sorry. I know we had Kansas City rooting for us too today because now all their people get to use their championship tickets.
Hey, you know what? What's interesting, and I'll say it, we haven't talked enough about this over the years. When Mike Brown decided to engage the next gens and allow them to step up and to run a team the way a current NFL team needs to be run, that's when it started to change. We screamed for Zach Taylor's head those first year and a half, 2 years. But you know what? They got him some talent, and that guy showed that he can coach. And Lou, I tell you right now, no one wants a defensive head coach. Come back to Cincinnati. We love him.
Callahan interviewed with the Colts, I think, on Friday, but they're interviewing like a dozen people. I don't think he's tops of their list. So Brian Callahan should be back. And Lou doesn't have any interview appointments. I'm really hoping we keep him another year. We want to keep these head coaches or these coordinators because we're going to get rated on the head coaching carousel. And but I think we ought to win a Super Bowl first. I think both these guys realize that they're here because they could turn down the interviews. They don't have to take them.
On the way over here, Riley and I were talking about it. The enemy makes $1 million a year. Zach Taylor makes $4.5 million a year. That's a lot of money between the difference between a coordinator and a head coach.
Yeah.
So while they may want to win a championship, oftentimes the money can speak too.
Before I forget, I want to say screw you, Eric Weddle, who went on Kay Adams' show earlier in this week. The footage is on my Twitter feed and literally said the Bengals had a 0% chance of winning this game. And I thought, how ridiculous that you can have your opinion that you don't think we're gonna lose, we're not gonna win, but a 0% chance is almost like the bus breaks down and we never get to the stadium. How could we not at least have a puncher's chance? And I thought we had a better than a puncher's chance. So Eric Weddle, eat crow, bro. Eat a rat bird, which is who you played for. All right. Clearly not a qualified NFL analyst, just a hater. And I wanted to say that I remember looking at Kay Adams and she didn't know what to say. A 0%. She was like, wow, this interview isn't going anywhere the way I thought it would. But you know what? We're all happy and he's not. And he looks like a fool. So
I'll tell you what, Romo gave us our props today too.
Yeah.
Romo gave us some serious props.
I'll take Romo any day of the week over Collinsworth. I just he just doesn't seem comfortable calling Bengal games because he can't say anything good about us. So
you know what? Collinsworth was my youth.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up in Dayton and watching Collinsworth and Boomer and everything else. So I can't hate on him.
Okay. So you have I'm gonna paraphrase a Mike Schmidt comment. You had the joy of watching him play for the Bengals when you were a kid and the agony of having to listen to him now that he's retired. So and if you don't know what I just quoted, that's a Mike Schmidt quote about saying he had the honor of playing for the Phillies in the evening and the agony of reading about it next day in the paper because he played for the Phillies in Philadelphia. So, but what a great win. God, I don't know what else to say. This was just a complete win. On to
Kansas City. Cheers.
Oh, I'll be joining you. That's Heath was on such edge. I have a new bottle of 1942 Don Julio, and he made me open it so he could drink it. And I said, I'm not drinking until after we record, but I will be joining you, throwing back a shot of 1942 right after this. All of us will be. So, except for Riley. Wink, wink. He's not of age. She is, so we can. So
we'll do it in Riley's honor.
Yeah. We'll drink one for you, Riley. So, but I can't say enough how proud I am of this team, and how proud I am that we showed that this was no fluke. How many people were saying, "Oh, well, the Bengals got all the breaks last year, and now's where the luck runs out," and all. No, here we are, back-to-back AFC championships. So
it'll be very interesting to see what happens this week with Mahomes and
yeah. We're all going to be watching that.
That was no joke. I watched that thing, and I've done that. I've had that injury before playing basketball, not football. And I mean, that's no joke. That is not something that you come back from immediately. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Up with so many drugs.
So, well, they can numb it all they want. I think he plays. He's a gamer.
I
think they tape it up. They shoot it up. He goes out there. But
there's no question in my mind.
I gotta like the weather conditions, what it's going to be. On a bum ankle. I mean, it favors us. I wasn't rooting for Mahomes to get hurt yesterday. Heck, I had money on Kansas City because I thought they'd win. My heart wanted Jacksonville so we could be hosting the game, but I'm a realist too. I always tell you, I bet with my brain. Okay.
I don't wish injuries ever on anybody.
Never.
And I could never wish anything on that kid. Kid, the only thing that the only problem I got with that kid is he's been playing the Bengals too many times in the last couple of years.
Well,
the kid is a gamer. He's a good sport, and he plays the game the right way. I mean, you can't beat on Mahomes.
And he was raised by his dad's a former baseball player for the Twins. He's been around this his whole life, and he was raised right. Archie Manning raised the Peyton boys right. Mahomes' dad raised him right. I mean, he knows and says all the right things. He's not arrogant or cocky or he doesn't speak out of turn. He's not a jerk. Definitely, I have a lot of respect for Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow. These three are going to be bumping heads for the next decade. Get used to it. This is the new Manning, Brady, and throw whoever else you want in as the third quarterback.
I'm sure it had something to do with the weather, but that offense today, the Bengals offense was methodical.
Yes.
I mean, it just, you grounded out the game, the ground game. You never really had anything long, even though, Burrow had a clean pocket most of the day.
Yeah.
172 rushing yards for the Bengals.
Yeah.
5 for Joe Mixon.
We controlled the game. We controlled both lines of scrimmage.
Let's be very clear. Joe Mixon is the number one running back on this team. And I know we see some comments that every show up, P. Ryan. Hey, I'm not giving up P. Ryan for anything in the world.
No.
Let's just be clear. Joe Mixon deserves to be running back one on this team.
Yeah, no question. So I've always said it's a great 1-2 punch, but Mixon has lower body strength. He's got the breakaway speed. There was one play at the end where we thought he was just a tip away from running that back in, which would have helped the overbetters, but it didn't. It didn't play. So, but before I forget, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get the notifications, and help us out with the thumbs up. It helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. So the artificial intelligence. So please hit the thumbs up. Heath, hopefully you're available. We're going to do a preview show for the championship this Thursday, like we always do. So Jake will be here, and I'm hoping, Heath, you can carve out that slot and join us, because it'd be fun.
The problem is it's during the workday. Jake is a couple hours in the towards the East Coast, so it's a little bit later in the day for him. Hey, I'm going to make 2 comments. One, quick shout out to my mom and dad, Riley's grandma and grandpa. They've been watching the show the last couple of weeks.
Who dey?
Never ever gets mentioned except once in a blue moon by my good buddy here, Mark Herman. Pollock for president. That offensive line has gelled. We've got 3 people that have been slotted in there. You would never, ever know it. Pollock, yes. Love you.
Yeah, no, I always said our best offseason hiring a couple years ago was getting Pollock back. We should have never let him leave the building, but we got him back, and give the guy time. It's a copycat league, and one of the reasons why I think Dan Campbell was given the extra year to accomplish what he accomplished in Detroit was because Zach Taylor needed those 2 years and then accomplished this, and you're seeing the fruits of that in Detroit. That game, it cost me money, but that game against Green Bay at the end of the year showed you there's a different culture there. And like I said, it's all about watching us. Look, we gave Zach the long leash, and it's paid off.
No, let's be clear. Mike Brown's a Chiefs son of a bitch. He wasn't going to pay him not to coach.
Yeah. Well, like I said, most of the change occurred. The reason Zach was hired was because the people in charge of his hiring was Katie and Troy, not Mike Brown. I mean, the changing the guard was happening then when we brought a guy like Zach Taylor in. So this is just a great win, guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy the Niners game. Who Dey? We will be back with a preview on Thursday, and obviously we'll be doing our post game right after the championship game. Who Dey? Here we go. Kansas City, be worried. We're coming. Take care, everybody.
Great show.